world, and welcome back to Stuff We Do, where we do all the knife stuff you love. Knife reviews, knife tests, knife modifications, and outdoor stuff with knives. Today we are talking button locks. Okay, I have fallen into the button lock thing in a big way. Okay, I had my eye on a few button locks previously, but those were... I burnt my finger. I'm also doing a braai, so after this you can check that out. Anyway, I've fallen into the button lock thing, but the first ones I wanted were things like the Protect Malibu, which I could never find because they were always out of stock, and the Hogue, what's that thing's name? I think it's EX04. I don't know, the 4-inch one with the button lock, whatever. But they were expensive and difficult to find, especially here in South Africa. Anyway, then all of a sudden, Kizer and Civivi started making button locks, a lot of them. So let's do that. These three are Civivi button locks and these three are Kizer button locks. Now, let's do them according to size. Okay, so the first one is this one, the Atticus button lock. This thing is wonderful. I think it's got a 3-inch blade. Let me just make sure. I'm lying. It's even less than, oh, you can't see that. It's even less than 3 inches. Okay, so it's not a big knife. Okay, but the action on this thing is fantastic. And it, sorry, injured finger, and I'm trying to keep it out of the way. But it works super with these thumb studs in both spidey flick, reverse flick, or normal. Okay, so I love that one. Then the second smallest one is a Kizer. This is that was a Civivi, if I didn't say that. The Kizer swayback. Okay, now I love the pattern of this knife because it feels like an olden day swayback. Wonderful action, wonderful knife, only a flipper. Only thumb studs, only a flipper. Okay, you can do both of these with the button alone if you want to do that, but yeah, that's not the normal way I do it. Otherwise, you would have one of those Civivi button locks, and I don't like those that only comes with buttons. Then, next up in our lineup of awesome button locks, what am I doing now? Oh, never mind, that was just me. Okay, this is the Kizer Assassin. Wonderful knife, best sound out of all of these. Listen. You can do it without the bouncing, but unfortunately, I don't have that great timing. Now, I love this thing. Lots of jumping, beautiful micarta. It looks nice. Okay, let me put them that way. So the perspective shows, well, actually, it's going to show the smaller one smaller and the other ones whatever. They are pretty much the same size, these ones. Okay, the Assassin is a bit bigger than both of them, but not by much. And I like the lanyard at the back. Not that I really always put lanyards on things unless they are 5th pocket knives. I don't normally do that. But I love the blade shape on this guy. Look at it. Let me just see. I think this is 154 cm. This was N690, if I can remember correctly. It says it's, there it says that, N690. And then this one, I think, is, what's that stuff? What's the stuff that Civivi is using now? A lot of. I'm going to get back to that. Anyway, then we have this one. Now, I still love this knife. This is my Cogent. Black on black, wonderful blade shape. And it only has a flipper tab. But the difference with this one is you can actually spidey flick it if you want to. Okay, so the Cogent, that's a bigger knife now. Okay, I'm moving everything up a bit again. Get them aligned, pivot to pivot. There we go. So there's Cogent, wonderful knife. Then I got this one, and I thought this was like my favorite new button lock. Wonderful micarta. And then this is the Chevalier, whatever. The from Civivi. Now, this one with its sheepsfoot, it has this fuller on both sides, which means, okay, I'm going to do that now, which means you can actually flip this out quite easily if you are not like me today Anyway, I don't know what's going on with me. Oh, it's my injured finger. Okay, I'm going to blame it on my injured finger, but okay, there we go. Okay, so this one, the Chevalier, is I like this one. I actually thought this was my favorite one. You see, it's pretty much the same size as the Cogent. Yeah, pretty much exactly the same size as the Cogent. So I always thought this was my favorite. Okay, and then I got this one. This is my new favorite button lock of all times. We have a flipper tab. We have thumb studs. It can spidey flick like a dream, and it's a big boy. This is the Kizer Big Leather XL. Okay. Now, all of these knives are wonderful. I'll carry any one of them any day, whatever. This one actually, personally, I think this looks the classiest of all of them. This one is actually one of my favorites for just a quick carry in maybe sweatpants or something. Like a dream, the little Atticus. Yeah. Swayback's wonderful. It feels a bit more traditional. But when we get to opening methods, I prefer thumb studs because you can spidey flick them or flick them with your thumb. Okay. But this one. Do you hear that sound? Even the second bounce makes it sound cooler, and that's just because I suck, but I can actually get it to, if your timing is right, you can get it to close. First try. Anyway, but this one is marvelous. Smooth micarta, but still grippy. It does change a bit in color with the sweat and oil of your hands, but look at that. It just makes it. Can you see it? Let me just try to focus. Okay, I can't. Anyway, it's a ASO design, which means it's an in-house design, but the swedge at the top, the drop point blade, look at the amount of jumping you get on this thing. I love this thing. This is my favorite button lock so far. Okay. Now that we are done with button locks, well, I think we're done with button locks. Button locks are great. Everybody needs at least one button lock in their lives. I, of course, need many. I still need the, what do you call that thing? The one that's not the sheep's foot blade, the one that has the bigger tall blade. Conspirator? Civivi Conspirator. I think that's what you call it. Anyway, I still need that one and I want it. But now let's get back to this ridiculous thing. Now, I challenged myself. If you haven't seen the previous video or two, please go and watch them. I challenged myself to only use this thing for a whole weekend as my only knife and only tool for everything. Yeah, so it's been a struggle, but I've been able to do everything with it. And remember what they say, the knife you have with you is the best knife to have. So even if you have only something like that, you can still do everything that we need to do. I was cutting meat and things and vegetables and stuff yesterday and stirring pots with this thing and opening beer. Yeah, I'm not going to do that challenge again. Next time I'll use a sharp rock or just take one knife. Somebody suggested it actually. Just take one knife and do everything with that knife for a weekend. Or, yeah, weekend. I'm not going to do it longer than that. Sorry, I have a lot of knives, so I tend to rotate them. I know there are people out there that has one knife and they use that one specific knife for everything for their entire lives. And you can do that. Check the video on me restoring this thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But thank goodness I have the excuse of saying things like, hey, I have a YouTube channel. I have to play with lots of knives. Good excuse. Anyway. Yes, anyway, back to this thing. But today I didn't want to cut so much, but I did have to cut off a piece of hose pipe. I'll show you that. And of course I had to open my beer, so I'll show you that. So I decided, what can I do today that's not going to use this thing too much? So I made burgers. Okay, if you want to watch that, it will follow now. Okay, it's Sunday, last day I have to use this thing. But I must say, although it was quite horrible, well, it pretty much does what it's supposed to. Okay, so my hose pipe needs to have a new fitting put on this so I can actually use it, which means we're going to be cutting it with this. Not too bad. Okay, I've got my 5-year-old, recently turned 5-year-old. Okay, that's not working. Anyway, I've got him to help me. Last day of this knife, I'm so happy about it. These are those you light in the corners and then they will burn. I'll light them with my Swedish, made for South Africa in Sweden. Can you believe that? Anyway, so yes, matches. But I like these ones. They're safety matches, but they're nice and long. Okay, so we're gonna do that now.
Ek het vinnig.
Jy moet vinnig.
Appel.
And now let's see if the little man can actually get this thing to light.
Au. Sien, kwijt dit. Jy sien hy baie hier kom. Jy sien.
Okay, maybe we missed it just a little. Okay.
Papa.
There we go. We have fire. Okay, so let's get some charcoal on here and then we can... Today we're doing hamburgers. Ask me why. Because I'm not going to cut any more things with this thing. Except maybe the packages. Okay, so let's get this stuff open. I used it yesterday and it worked quite nicely. So let's do this again. What's going on with my bag? Why doesn't it want to? Oh, there we go. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, we're doing hamburger patties today because that's the least cutting I can think of. Yeah, that's close enough to get them out. And then now the problem is going to be I'm going to try to flip them with this side. Okay, this is what do you call it? And if you look at my shadow and you think that guy's wearing a skin tight shirt, that's not the truth. I'm not wearing a shirt. Not that I'm skin tight. If I turn sideways, you'll see my belly. Anyway, so I'm going to take this Checkers Championship boerenbors, boere, what do you call the things? Hamburger patties. And I'm going to fry them. And I'm using this thing. I'm getting very tired of this thing. Like I said, next time if I do something like this, I will either choose a good knife or something like a rock or something. So you can at least see the struggle. Because now I feel the struggle, but there's no reason for me to do this. Although I did want to use my Kiwi knife and I did say it in the video on Friday. So yes, it works for 1,000,001 things, and if you only have one tool, you can make a deal with it. And it can open beer, which is always nice. And it can cut. You have this serration at the front, but yes, a better knife would be better. Okay, these things are done. I'm done. Now I'm gonna eat. I'll hopefully show you the food we eat now, I hope. Okay, this is my delicious burger with, it seems like Prego sauce. Have a wonderful week and stay safe, all of you.